Good morning, good afternoon and good evening everybody. Thanks for taking another look at one of my videos. This time around, part of the Styrene Diaries episodes is how to make 1/64 jacks. Thank you very much for tuning in again. It irritates people, I think, when I say tune in, and it reminds them of like a wireless radio or something like that. I don't know. So I'll have to try and stop saying it. But I wanted to put my face on the camera this time and tell you, whilst I've been quiet for so long, work commitments, family commitments, I've said it in the past, they've all taken its toll. Got a bit of a cold, a bit of bass in my voice, but don't worry about the sympathy. I've only got myself to blame. But what I have done in the meantime is I've made my own little t-shirts. I've got a T-mail store somewhere in the link in the description down here, so please take a look. It'll help fund this obsession that I've got with these cars. I didn't want to start asking for send me your cars, send this, send that. I've got enough of that. But what this will help with is a little more inventive ways and things to speed up the process by getting some more content out. So if you want to help support, that would be great. If not, ignore me. I'm waffling on a little bit now. The kids are upstairs banging around. I've got on my mic. Who knows? I'll shut up now. I'll get cracking with the video. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe. Please subscribe. Cheers. So then, with all that said, we'll crack on with what you've come here to see, and that's how to make these little jacks. They're a really straightforward and easy project to make. As with all styrene products, they're really strong as well, so they will hold the weight of the vehicles that you put on top of them. Not many parts involved at all. There's only a couple of sections of round bar, some square section and a little H pattern section. You can make these in various different heights. The higher it is, the more stable the car is, in fact. If you put them quite low like the one in the foreground here, they do tend to tip up a little bit. But as you can see now, they will take the weight very easily. You can put one on the front, one on the back, no problem whatsoever. And overall, they're quite tiny little things. They measure approximately 15mm along the base, and the section I'm using is 4.5mm wide. So of that, it's the H section, 4.5mm, 4mm square, a 3mm bar, and a 1mm bar. So I'll get cutting the H section straight away. And I use this little chop it board. I'll put the link in the description again. It's really handy. If you make parts too small on it, the blade does tend to wobble a bit. But lengthy parts of sort of 10mm and above, they're quite easy to do. Now, I'm going to take off the other half of this H, if you like. And you'd be wondering now why I don't use a C section or a U section, depending on how you interpret that. They tend to have quite shallow sides. So why I use this H is because the sides are quite high. It makes more sense to use this profile. It doesn't take very long just to carefully cut it off and shave it away, but once you've done the side profile as well at the top, like I'm just doing now, it'll all make perfect sense of what I'm trying to achieve. And here you go. It's basically the platform and the starting blocks of this little jack, like so. So I'm moving on to the wheels, and again I'm just going to chop up just a couple of mil width of this bar, and I'll just do the four wheels. Then again I'll just do another little bit just for the top of the jack. I won't move it any closer. As I said, if you get too thin on it, it does tend to distort a little bit. So I'll shave that little top bit down in a minute, and I'll show you where that fits on in a moment. Now the handle's the 1mm bar. Just cut it 10mm long, and I know it's exactly 10mm because these little squares on my cutting mat measure 10mm, so it's fairly straightforward to do. And again, sort of 12 to 15mm of the square. And with that, what I will do now is just cut, and I'll just move it into focus so you can see there's just a little bit of an angle on this, because this is the main section, the center section of the jack, the lift part, if you like. So just by cutting this little bit of an angle on it, you can see, if I just do the top as well, for where the little round mounting part will be. You'll see once I put it back on again, it just sits just at the right angle, and depending on the angle you cut this is depending on the height of the final appearance of the jack. But as I mentioned at the start, the higher it is, the more stable it is. And as quick as that, that's just the sum of all its parts. We've got the little handle at the top there of the 1mm, the square section, 4 pieces, and a really cut down little piece at the top there for the mounting part on the top of the jack. So what's that, 8 parts. And as quick as I'm telling you this, is as quick as you can cut them all out. So straight on to putting them all together again with this mech. It's better to put the 2 mounting parts together and then wipe the solution on. But you can get away with it quite quickly if you just dab a little bit on like I'm doing here and very quickly chuck it together. Not ideal, but when it's really fine like this, it's just a method of getting them to touch each other. And then what you can do now is just wipe over it again, the final bit, just to make them mate correctly. And there you have it. That's the chassis part, if you like, the rolling part of this little jack. And just working round it, you have to get your tweezers out. If you've got big sausage fingers like me, it does get a little bit hard. So again, as quick as I'm saying this, is as quick as you can put it together. It gets a little bit fiddly on this bar, as you can see. The handle on the rear. And if you can get away with not being tempted to keep moving the parts, they will literally stick together first time and strong as well. The more you start moving it around, or the heavier you put the mech solution on, it does tend to swamp it down a little bit. So if you're liberal but give it enough, you will be okay. And there you have it, one tiny little jack. So I'll quickly spray them, and all I'm going to do is use a little spray can of some Tamiya TS spray, just to give it a nice little coating. I won't bother putting any primer down on these little things. It does tend to bite quite easily and stick well. And then finally I'll just work around it with some Tamiya enamels. Some black obviously for the wheels, some silver, a little bit of detailing on the centres of the wheel hubs, and again around the handle. And you can go further with this. You can add a little bit of detail on the side if you wanted to put some little branding stickers on, for instance, some little logos. It all depends how far you want to go, but at the end of it you will be finished with your own little range of these trolley jacks, like so. So as another addition to this little garage, we are out of the starting blocks now. We've done 2 items now. We did the shelving in another issue, which you can find on my channel. Now on to these little jacks, and I don't know what I'm going to do next. I've got a dozen or so other little items in this little series coming along, but just to show you that these are strong enough to hold the weight of the cars. Here we have a little display from an old car I did a while back. So there you have it. I hope that helps. I hope you want to have a go yourself. Thank you as always for watching these videos. Please subscribe. I'll make these a little bit quicker, and I'll get cracking with another car which is coming very soon. Thanks again for watching.